guys, so today I am finally doing what has to be the most requested video that I've ever got on this channel. You guys have been asking and asking for this video forever, and since we just recently hit 50,000 subscribers, I thought it would be the perfect time to finally do a feeding all my pets video. So today I'm going to be showing you what all 15 of my pets eat. I do have dogs, small pets, and reptiles. Now this is just what they eat in one day. My pets don't eat the same thing every day, and most of my reptiles especially don't eat every day. But this will just give you guys a good example of what one of their typical meals consists of. Before I jump into showing you feeding all my pets, I do want to give a big thank you to Rover for sponsoring today's video. Most of you guys have probably heard of Rover. They are an awesome company and I have worked with them in the past before. Rover is actually the nation's leading dog walker and like daycare service. They do so many different things. If you're going on vacation and you're going to be gone for like a week and you need someone to come check on your dogs or other pets, they do have pet sitters that will come check on your hamsters and your snakes. You can find someone on Rover in your area to come take care of your pets while you're on vacation. Or if you're just going to have a really long day at work or school and you're not going to make it home for your dog's midday potty break, which they really desperately need, you can have someone from Rover come over and they'll just take your dogs out to potty, or they can take them on a walk, whatever you prefer. It's a really great service and they can provide service for so many different needs. Like I said, you can find people to take care of your small pets too. I know a lot of people don't have anyone who wants to come over and take care of their geckos or their snakes while they're gone. But with Rover, you can find someone in your area willing to do that. I'm actually going to have a link down in my description. If you're interested in trying Rover and you're just not sure, you can click that link and you can actually get $20 to use for your first try. So that will give you the opportunity to try Rover pretty much risk-free because you're getting a free $20 to try it out. So once again, thank you to Rover for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get into it and we'll start with the gerbils. Next, we're going to be feeding my pair of female gerbils, Chicken and Waffles. Chicken is the black and white one right there, and then Waffles is the gray one in the back. The first thing I do when I feed them is I always check their water bottle. I actually check it at least twice a day, usually more, because as you can tell, they kick their bedding everywhere, so a lot of times they do cover up their water bottle. So I have to fix that, and then the food I give them is just back here. It's the same food I feed my hamsters. So this is the Vitacraft VitaSmart. So I will just open this up and I just scatter feed them. I found it's the best way to feed them because if I do a bowl, they just get bedding in it like crazy. And this also gives them some enrichment. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a scoop of this food. I usually do 1 to 2 scoops and I just scatter it around a little bit. So we'll go ahead and give them 2 tonight, keep them a little bit busy. So that is how I feed them. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and clear out this water bottle a bit so they can drink. I hate doing this because it messes up their tunnel system, but they have to be able to get to their water. So that is the gerbils. Now we're gonna go ahead and feed the hamsters. So we have Mr. Fluffy Butt, my Syrian hamster, up here. And then down below him is Friar Tuck, my other Syrian hamster. He is in that very back corner. You can barely see him. So what I feed them, I actually feed them 2 different foods. This is the Vitacraft VitaSmart. I switch between this and the Higgins Sunburst. So this is the seed mix they're currently on, and then I do add the Missouri Rat and Mouse pellets for some extra protein. So I'm gonna go ahead and we will feed Mr. Fluffy Butt first. So I will take his bowl out. I don't feed them every day just because I found if I do feed them every day, they get very, very picky and do selective feeding. So if I don't feed them every day, they actually eat more of their food. As you can tell, he still has a few of his pellets in there because these are his least favorite. But I am going to leave them in just to make sure he does end up eating them. So I'm going to give him 1 scoop of the seed mix. We'll put that in there, and then I'm gonna give him about 3 of the Missouri pellets, and him and Friar Tuck get the same food. So that is Mr. Fluffy Butts. So we will go ahead and give this back to him. He's very busy right now, as you can see. So we'll see if he wants to check out any of that. Usually he likes to pouch these pellets right away. He can actually fit a couple of them in his mouth at one time, which is ridiculous. It looks like he's actually picking through and eating a little bit instead of pouching right away. So it looks like he's actually digging through and looking for sunflower seeds. So now that he has his fresh food, we'll go ahead and move down to Friar Tuck and we will feed him. He is actually out also. He is still a little skittish. We're still working on taming, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab his bowl and we'll see what he left in his. It looks like he left about the same thing as Mr. Fluffy Butt, mainly just the pellets. So we're gonna go ahead and give him the 1 scoop of food And then we're gonna give him about 3 of the Missouri pellets. And then we'll just put this back in. I don't think he's going to come out to eat. You can see him back there in the back. And I did just give them fresh water earlier today, so I'm not gonna worry about that right now. So that is it for the hamsters. Next, I'm gonna be feeding Pippa. She is my baby Kenyan sand boa. She is the only snake I have, so I do wanna do a disclaimer in front of this part of the video. She does eat frozen thawed pinky mice, so I am going to be feeding her a mouse. It's not alive, but I do just want to do that disclaimer. If you don't want to see a snake eat a mouse, I know that can upset a lot of people and I completely understand why. So if you don't want to see my Kenyan sand boa eat a little pinky mouse, I will put a timestamp on the screen and you can go ahead and skip to that timestamp and you won't have to see her eat. So if you are still here, I assume you do want to see her eat. If you look really close, you can actually see her sticking her little head out right back there in front of that log. It's really, really hard to see. But her head is just barely sticking up out of the aspen. She's just waiting to ambush a little mouse. Hopefully she eats well. I am very lucky that she does eat frozen thawed very well and she's never missed a meal. A lot of Kenyan sand boas are pretty picky and do eat live when they're young, but she's always ate frozen thawed. But she does love to grab them and then take them into the substrate really quick, so we might not be able to see. So I'll go ahead and get her a mouse and we will feed Pippa. Okay, so I have her little pinky mouse. She scares me every time because she does usually strike pretty quick. So I'm sorry if the camera moves a little bit, but I have her pinky. We'll see, hopefully she stays out when she grabs it. She usually grabs it. Yeah, she already grabbed it. And she's probably going to take it down into the bedding, never to be seen again. So next we'll move on to feeding my leopard geckos. This is Piper. I'm sure most of you know her. We're actually not going to be feeding her today. Most of you know that she actually did have surgery just about a couple weeks ago because she did have some infected follicles and it was a very major surgery, so she is still healing from that. And then about a week after that, she did get an infection in her tail and had to have a second surgery to amputate part of her tail. So she's actually not eating insects at the moment. I am syringe feeding her. But I don't really want to show that because that's not something I feel comfortable showing other people how to do. Because if you are going to syringe feed, you really need to talk to your vet and have them show you and make sure it's okay for your specific gecko and your specific situation. Because syringe feeding is definitely not something you want to do unless you have to. So I'm not going to show you syringe feeding her. I think I do have an old clip of her eating a superworm. I will put that in if I can find it because she is really cute when she eats. But that is Piper, so we're not feeding her today. Hopefully she'll be back on insects pretty soon. I am offering them to her every day. It's just whenever she gets her appetite back. So hopefully soon we will be feeding Piper again. So now I'm going to be feeding my 2 other leopard geckos. I have Pablo, which you guys all know about, and then I actually did get another leopard gecko. I've had him for a little over 3 weeks now. His name is Felipe, and I will try to show him in this video. I do plan on doing a full introduction video on him, but he's taking a pretty long time to settle in. He's still very, very shy, and I don't want to get him out and handle him too much on camera just to stress him out. I know you guys understand and you will wait, so I will have a full video on him when he's ready. But we're going to be feeding them both some superworms tonight. So I'll probably give Felipe 2 superworms because he is quite a bit smaller than Pablo, and I'll probably give Pablo 3 tonight. So I do dust all their meals. Tonight they're going to be dusted with calcium with D3. I use with D3, I also use without D3, and then they also get a multivitamin, but tonight it is time for the one with D3. So I'm just going to put a little bit of calcium in this bag, if I can keep it in front of the camera so you guys can actually see. So I don't need very much in there at all. So that should probably do. And then I'm going to grab the tweezers because superworms really freak me out and I do not touch them with my hands. And then we'll grab 5 superworms to put in here. And we'll get them all nice and dusted too. There should be quite a few in here. These are nice and fresh. I just got these in last week. I ordered them online. And let's get one more. All right. Put that lid on because they like to escape. And then we will just dust these guys, make sure they are nice and coated in some vitamins, which is super important for leopard geckos. There's a little bit extra in there, but it's okay. It looks like they are coated. So I'm just going to go ahead and put these in their bowls. I might hand feed Pablo because I know he will come out to eat for us. So we'll go ahead and put them in their bowls for now. So there is 2 for Felipe, and then we'll give Pablo the other 3. If I can get them out of the bag. I know it'd be a lot easier if I would just stop being a baby and touch them, but I just really hate superworms and I do not touch them. Okay, so there is 3 for Pablo, 2 for Felipe. So let's go over to their cage and feed them. So here is Pablo, my leopard gecko I recently got on Craigslist. He is doing amazing. It is pretty dark over where their cages are, and it's about 11 o'clock at night, so hopefully you guys can see. As you can tell, he's definitely ready to eat. So I'm gonna go ahead and put his dish in. There we go. He was a little underweight when I got him, but I've definitely got the weight on him, and he's a very nice weight now. He is a pretty large leopard gecko. I don't know if he's a giant or not, but he's definitely on the large side. And he loves his food, which definitely explains why he's on the large side. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut his. It looks like he has 1 worm left, and we'll go ahead and move on to Felipe. Felipe is right beside him. I don't think he will, I know he won't eat in front of us, but it looks like his little face is actually sticking out over here. So this is a little sneak peek of Felipe. He is a firewater leopard gecko that I got at the last reptile expo. He is just a little juvenile right now. He is so adorable, but he definitely won't eat on camera. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put his worms in here, and then I'm sure he'll eat them tonight when it's dark. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get food ready for Lola, my blue-tongued skink. She's a super picky eater, so she probably won't eat half of this. But today she's gonna be eating some of these raw boost mixers. This is actually just a raw frozen dog food. This is the chicken recipe. I already went ahead and got some out and thawed it out, so I have that here already in her dish. Other than that, her greens for today, which she absolutely hates, so I'm gonna try to cut them up really, really small, is just some of this little lettuce. And then I'm also going to cut up a strawberry to put on top because she actually does like strawberries, so that might get her to eat a little bit. So I already have the raw over here in her dish, and then I'm just going to take this little bit of the lettuce, and I try to chop them up into really small pieces. That way she'll actually eat some of it. She won't eat it at all if I don't chop it up like as small as I can. So that is pretty chopped up. I'm just going to sprinkle this in, and then I'll mix it all together afterwards. And then I'm going to cut the strawberry into little pieces too. This is the one thing that usually gets her to eat. So hopefully she'll eat a little bit. I don't give her too much fruit, but it does get her to eat, so I put a little bit on her meals. So this is what her meal looks like now. I'm gonna go ahead and just mix it up a little bit. That way the strawberries and the meat and everything are mixed in. Hopefully she'll get a little bit of everything this way. And then I'm going to grab some calcium. Today she's gonna have the calcium with D3. So I'm going to just sprinkle a little bit of this on top, and then we will go feed this to Lola. So I know we won't actually be able to see her eat it all because she will not come out to eat when I'm in here. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this food and put it right over here by her water. And that is how I feed Lola. Next, we're going to be feeding my Pac-Man frog, Fiona. Fiona eats a variety of things, mainly insects, including dubia roaches and superworms. She also eats night crawlers, which is what we're going to be feeding her tonight. Every once in a while, she'll eat a pinky mouse, but I don't feed them very often because they're really not the best as a staple diet. So tonight, I'm going to be feeding her a night crawler. I'll probably just give her one because I did actually just feed her yesterday, but I just want to show her in the video. So tonight is her night. She's also going to get the calcium with D3 on her worm. So these are just some worms I get at Petco. As you can see, there is plenty of them right here. And then I use these big rubber tip tongs for her because she is very, very aggressive. So I'm just going to grab a worm. There's a little bit of dirt on there. I'm just going to get a little bit of that off. She does ingest a little bit of dirt when she eats some of her Eco Earth, but I try to make sure she doesn't get too much. So I'm just going to shut these worms so none of them get out. I would prefer not to have worms all over my house. And then we will toss him around in his calcium, make sure he is nice and dusted, and then we'll go feed him to Fiona. So it's always pretty dark over here by Fiona's tank, and it's pretty much impossible to get a light. So hopefully you guys will be able to see. I know she's in her hole right here, and she'll grab this pretty quick. She has awful aim. So she did go ahead and grab it, and it will be gone in about 2 seconds. So that is all it takes to feed a very fat Pac-Man frog. Now it is time to feed Harper, Jorge, and Pickle. Harper and Jorge are my two crested gecko. Pickle is my gargoyle gecko, so they all eat the same thing. Tonight I'm going to be feeding them this Pangea. This is the banana and apricot flavor. They have a lot of flavors, and I also feed them the Rapashi. I like to give them a lot of variety. So this is what they're all three going to be eating tonight. So I just have the little, I think these are the ½ ounce cups, and we're going to give them each a spoonful of this, and then we'll mix it with water before we give it to them. This is one of their favorite flavors. They really like this flavor, and I'm making a mess. And they also really like the watermelon Pangea. So tonight we're gonna give them this. And then I just have the spray bottle here with treated water. And a lot of people measure it. I measured it at first, and now I just kind of guess. They do like it kind of watery because it does thicken up once it sits. So I always just add a little bit, and if it's too watery I can add a little bit more powder, and if it's too thick I'll just add a little bit more water. So I'm going to go ahead and take the other end of this spoon because it's easier to mix with this end, and just mix it until all of the powder is dissolved. Now that all three are mixed, we'll go put them in their enclosures. Unfortunately, it actually doesn't look like anyone is out yet. They're all hidden somewhere in all of their foliage. So I don't know if we'll be able to see anyone, but we'll go ahead and feed them. That way when they wake up for the night, they do have fresh food available. So first over here we have Harper, my female crested gecko, in her skyscraper. The sticker's still on here because it's on there really, really good, and I haven't been able to get it off. So we'll go ahead and open this up, and I don't think she's out yet. She likes to sleep behind the paper, which is kind of crazy, but we'll just go ahead and set that in there. So she'll have fresh food when she wakes up later. And now we will feed Pickle, my gargoyle gecko, who is right beside her. I actually just moved him into this 12 by 12 by 18, which was Harper's old tank. He's still a baby, so it's perfect. And you can actually see him a little bit. Let me open the door. So you can see him right there. You can see his legs. He's just hanging on a plant. So I'm gonna go ahead and put his food in right here, and I'm sure he'll find that pretty soon. And then last we have Jorge, who is my other crested gecko. He is my male. He does not like me very much at all. He is the one that I got off of Craigslist, and he is very, very timid, so I know we won't see him. I don't see him very often, but he is a very, very good eater. So I'm just gonna sit his right in here. He does have a larger dish, but it works fine. So his is up there, and now all the crested and gargoyle geckos have their fresh food when they wake up. And now, even though I am showing this last, these guys were actually fed first. I do feed them much earlier in the day than everyone else. It is time to feed my dogs Ellie and Steve. Tonight they're just eating their dried kibble. This is the Canada Pure C. Ellie absolutely loves this food. She is extremely picky, and this is the only kibble she will actually eat. Also, don't mind the missing trim on my wall. We are working on that. So I'm gonna go ahead and feed Steve first because he gets a little antsy. So he gets just about a ½ cup in his bowl. And then Ellie's is over here, and she gets a little bit less than Steve. She is a few pounds lighter, and that is all they're getting for dinner tonight. So hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing me feed all my pets. Like I said at the beginning, most of my pets actually don't eat every day, and a lot of them have different things throughout the week, so this was just kind of a little snippet of one of their normal meals. Also, make sure you click the link down in the description to get $20 off when you try Rover for the first time. If you did enjoy today's video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time.